Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May speaks at a press conference at the EC headquarters in Brussels, Belgium December 8, 2017. REUTERSYves Herman Following this morning's major breakthrough on the Brexit deal, here are the big winners and losers from the agreement. If Brexit has to happen, then in that context the North is getting the best of both worlds. The border risked becoming an EU frontier with passport checks, but this will not now happen. Today's deal means that regardless of what comes in the later stages in the talks, the status quo will remain for people when crossing from the Republic into the North. The fact Scotland, Wales and London all now want similar guarantees tells you this was a good deal for Northern Ireland. The agreement also puts emphasis on protecting the Good Friday Agreement and peace funds. Leo Varadkar and Simon Coveney. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar left speaks with a newly appointed Tánaiste Simon Coveney at the RS in Dublin, following the resignation of Frances Fitzgerald over her handling of a police whistleblower scandal. Press Association photo. Picture date Thursday, November 30, 2017. CPA story Irish Tánaiste. Photo credit should read Brian Lawless. Bawire. The Taoiseach and Tánaiste held their nerves over recent weeks in the face of some unfair and personal attacks from hardline Brexiteers and elements of the UK press. Having battled each other for the Fine Gael leadership, they now look like a formidable duo on the international political stage. No matter how long they remain in office, they are unlikely to be many days better than today. They got the result they wanted. A hat tip to former Taoiseach Enda Kenny, who laid the groundwork for their success. Today's agreement will be of major reassurance to businesses in the region, particularly farmers. It is estimated 30,000 vehicles cross the border every day. Hilary Bennett. The border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. These include workers and students who would have been badly affected by any change to the current regime. Essentially, the deal says trading rules will be maintained through alignment of regulations. The devil might be in the detail, but it's as much as we could have hoped for at this stage. Hard Brexiteers. Those who favour a very hard Brexit will be aghast by this deal. The way the UK government has presented the deal suggests they intend to stay closely aligned to the EU. British Prime Minister Theresa May looks on as she addresses a press conference with the European Commission President at the European Commission in Brussels on December 8, 2017. Britain and the EU reached a historic deal on December 8 on the terms of the Brexit divorce after the British Prime Minister rushed to Brussels for early morning talks. AFP photo. Emmanuel Dunandemmanuel Dunand. Fijiti images. Many believe Theresa May should pull out from the negotiations and simply initiate a hard Brexit. The agreement also questions the logic of the argument that the UK is taking back control of its borders. The only border with the EU is to remain wide open. Theresa May, the UK Prime Minister, got there in the end, but it has been an embarrassing week. Having had to dramatically stall the talks after a phone call from the DUP, Theresa May looks even weaker than before. UKIP's Nigel Farage above wasted no time having a pop at her this morning, tweeting a deal in Brussels is good news for Mrs May as we can now move on to the next stage of humiliation. British tabloids. Former UKIP leader Nigel Farage. Photo. Pawire. Most of the UK press, particularly those in the Murdoch stable, are pro-Brexit and not afraid to let readers know. Newspapers like The Sun and Daily Mail have had some bizarre coverage of Ireland in recent weeks as they tried to influence the UK negotiating team. Ultimately, though, Leo Varadkar didn't shut his gob as advised, and in this instance at least that was a good thing. They will probably welcome the fact that the talks are moving on to phase 2, but the divorce bill and Irish question have been answered in a way that want meet approval. Online editors.